welcome everybody to session 61 of New Horizons as we wrap up some loose ends from our finale and maybe do some planning for the next phase of this campaign as we're loosely breaking it up into the end of one arc and the beginning of another. Uh, First off, our session recap as usual from Java.
Bloodbath 2.0 ensued, and it could have gone a little better. The king might have lost his head, but we're all alive, so we didn't completely fail. And I mean, he got it back. We killed everyone, including General Ahmad, and Nero finally even got her wind cutter.
All right. Sums it up pretty well. So yeah, we left our intrepid heroes on the throne room floor, gathered around a newly recapitated Emperor Assad.
Decapitated.
I love that term. I'm going to use that so many times. There are going to be a lot more decapitations just so that we get to have recapitations.
Oh my word. We're just gonna repeatedly traumatize Saoirse every time.
Gonna get a little decap happy.
Decappy?
Decappy.
Oh dear.
But anyways,
But don't get
yeah.
recappy because that's Java's job.
So you all witnessed his confused return to consciousness and some strange muttering and feeling at his neck and the back of his head and all that as he reoriented himself. And meanwhile, Cade has been in the back room trying to hack into this palace system and trying to figure out something about the psychic shield that was referenced by his father, and see what he can do to restore it, because it's apparently not functioning. And let's...
Oh yeah, we do have to still help his dad, who's holding off the rear, right?
So let me go ahead and describe the current situation. Basically, things seem to have fallen into a lull in your immediate surroundings. Breckenridge is being tended to by a couple of his men. He's looks like he's sustained some other moderate to minor injuries, while others of his men are sweeping the antechamber, and not literally sweeping. They're doing a sweep of the antechamber, and some of the royal guardsmen who were revived by Saoirse a few moments ago are approaching, gathering around the king, and calmly but firmly distancing you guys from the king and helping him to his feet and helping restore to him his regal dignity.
Yes, because I'm covered in his blood, so I definitely need to keep my distance.
No, you don't need the surgeon draped all over him or anything. But they're not like it's not like they're fighting to shove you away or anything. They're just doing the gentle but firm kind of thing. Let me know if you'd like to do something about that. But meanwhile, it looks like out in the antechamber things are calm. There's no fighting at the moment, and Cade is hacking away back in the back room. He was able to identify some locations for line shunts, one of which is in a panel inside this room, there's another place that's further into the king's chambers, and it seems like those would be sufficient.
Okay.
And upon going to place one at the indicated spot inside this control room, Cade finds one already there.
Aha. Well, I bet you he would probably leverage that to start.
What do you mean by leverage that?
Make use of it. You know.
Okay, like use it to facilitate his own hack?
Yeah.
See if you can trace the hack.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. Do you want to go check the other location?
Yeah, probably. Probably.
Does he take anybody with him?
At this point, he's going to get on comms and be like, I found that somebody's already placed line shunts to shut down the psychic shield. We need to restore it. I could probably use the backup. He was going to get Brother Nick to help him with that previously, so maybe he'll be like, you want to come make sure it's all good, Brother Nick?
Now, what's Brother Nick doing right now?
I had grabbed the compad radio, whatever it was, off of the dead General Ahmad, and was contemplating if we could use that to call people off. But I guess sounds like we're in a lull already. Might be pushing them out. I guess he'd pocket that for now then. And yeah, calm that he's on his way to Cade. Guess ask Nero to come with him. Then tell Java, stay as close as you can to the king, in case whoever that was comes back. Make sure you're within range to do whatever that thing is that you do.
Catch bullets. That's what it's called. He catches bullets.
I can catch a lot of things.
Oh man, is there anything within reach for Nero to throw at him?
There are several things. What sort of things?
Was that in character conversation?
Yep. I can catch a lot of things.
Casings, viscera.
Yeah.
Shattered pieces of the throne room.
Random person's head, I'm sure.
Half a general.
Hashtag
Oh, my
not the
word.
king.
Someone's decorated backside just lying there.
Yes, in fact.
Oh, no.
and his decorated front side.
Ugh.
Probably redecorated front side, but okay.
Oh my.
Interior decorating.
I think Nero will look around for something to throw, see that it's pretty much all gore, and think better of it.
Decide against it.
Aww.
Good job, Nero.
Impulse
That's
control.
called character growth.
She does look over to Saoirse as she's moving to where she saw Cade go, with kind of a you gonna be okay look.
Saoirse's looking shell shocked.
Mm.
She's just kind of looking at her hands, and she looks like she's kind of muttering under her breath about something.
Probably I just made a head.
Nero gets on calm with Cade. Says, I'm gonna stay with Saoirse.
Okay.
Cade, who has no idea she just regrew a head, is like, girls.
I mean,
Uh,
he kind of was watching from the other rooms, so I would say he did
What?
know.
Well, so he
She
There was a
saw.
hole in
He
the
was
wall.
watching.
He did
There was a
see.
hole in the wall.
Yeah.
I didn't know there was a hole in the wall.
Let's see. So he saw the beheading. Actually, wait a second. No, I think you said something about watching the beheading through the cameras last time, but the the explosion. I don't guess you. Maybe I didn't make it clear enough. The explosion knocked out whatever cameras were
Oh.
monitoring the throne room.
Okay, yeah, so he wouldn't have yeah, I guess he wouldn't know that the king is alive.
Yeah. Awkward.
Thanks.
He would just know that there was a large explosion and
Oh yeah, would he have even seen the king
yeah,
decapitated?
no, he would not have seen that, and I don't know
Oh,
if you
okay.
guys would have told him any of that. So yeah, sorry that it's maybe a little bit tricky to
Oh yeah.
that knowledge back in the
Yeah.
bottle.
No, I understand. It makes sense. We'll roll with it and see.
But as Brother Nick moves to go join Cade, uh, one of the royal guards will just put a hand out to stop him and say, "Excuse me, sir. Where do you think you're going?"
He'll it's barely slowing stride. He'll say, "With me, soldier. We need to resecure the palace. We're going to turn back on the psychic shield."
He'll the you hear the king speak out in a commanding voice behind you. "And who are you to command my troops?"
Sire, I believe we're the people who just saved your life. I'm glad you're back up, but the fight continues. I hope I'm not presuming too much, but we do need to resecure the palace and re-enable the psychic shields.
He he starts walking towards you imperiously with his guards following, and
Hmm.
he says, and he claps an arm on Brother Nick's shoulder. "Believe me, you will receive due reward for the service you've given the Empire. However, you do presume a bit. You may accompany me as we investigate what has been done to my shield." And
Thank you, sire.
he leads the way with allowing you to walk at his side as he goes back to the rear chambers.
Saoirse does look concerned at that.
You notice a bit of an undercurrent of kind of extreme alertness to his eyes and his his head movements and such, but he is projecting an outward display of calm, and he makes some gestures to some of his soldiers. A couple of them run off towards the antechamber, and on their way are checking on fallen soldiers. And
As Saoirse is seeing that take place between Brother Nick and the king
Mm-hmm.
and the guards running off, she wants to be keeping a tally of how many of them are staying with the king and how many of them are going off.
Okay. Well, as she starts tracking that, uh, she hears barked from the door out of the room by the Emperor. Healer, if you have more in you, would you see to my men?
I'm sorry, are you talking to me?
He
Your Highness.
pauses, looks around the room. Do you see another healer?
She's
That
amused
would
at
be
that
most
question
useful.
because what did he say?
He said that would be most useful.
Which of your men, sire, would you be preferring I look to?
He makes a
She's raised
visibly
an
start.
eyebrow because he's got men right there with him who are on their feet but obviously hurt.
Yeah.
And then obviously there's the men around the room.
So
So she
he
wants to know exactly what's his priority here.
yeah. He raises an eyebrow at her tone and gives a broad gesture with his arm, and he says, "You're the healer. See to who needs your help." And he glances briefly at the four men that have formed up around him, and they all give him quick shakes of their heads. And considering that he's made himself clear, he nods in your direction and moves
He'll
on
nod
in the
back.
room. Yeah, there are four of his soldiers around him. He had taken up his sword again and has it in its sheath at his side.
Saoirse is going to look at uh, Java and Nero and say, one of you please stay with Brother Nick and one of you stay with me.
Well, unless Java speaks up, Nero is standing by Saoirse.
Okay. And it sounded like the plan was already for Java to try to stick by the Emperor, right?
That's true.
Okay.
All right, sounds good. So as they kind of naturally start parting ways, Saoirse's going to look at Nero, just kind of gonna let out a breath, just like she's visibly trying to calm herself to
Mm-hmm.
functioning tone of voice.
And she
Um,
would be aware that time is extremely of the essence when it comes to some of those soldiers.
right. So,
Nero takes off her
all right.
helmet so that Saoirse can actually see, without the faceplate in the way.
Yeah. Seeing Nero, coming out of the bloody suit, just not bloody, just Nero. She is a comfort to Saoirse. So she'll just take a deep breath and go, I am going to need your help. I need you to quickly look around the room. Anybody who seems to be in critical condition, I need you to get my attention as soon as possible. We have to move as quickly as we can.
Okay. Nero will take a look around for wounded.
Right.
Something that she's
Saoirse's doing
not
the
too
same.
bad at.
All right. So the two of you start moving quickly through the wounded. Saoirse doing what she can with her biopsionics, and Nero doing some of the more mundane first aid and field medicine. The other group, Brother Nick and Java, following closely with the Emperor, enter the back
Oh,
hall and
Saoirse had also wanted to compad to Cade once the Emperor and Bernick and Java were sort of off, no longer paying attention to them. She wanted to calm to Cade. You've got royal company heading your way.
Cade will probably just look at that and cringe to himself and message back, thank you for warning me.
So, what
He'll
is Cade
say,
doing about his laser
"You're
pistol
welcome."
and the servant that he came across in this room? Because he had been keeping the guy at gunpoint, making sure not to take his eyes off of him.
Oh. Well, I
Time
still
is
think the
running
guy is shifty, but he's going to be. He'll probably holster his pistol for the moment
out. Okay.
and talk to the man and say, "You there? Did you see who placed this?" And he'll point directly at the line shut that was used to hack the
He'll have
psychic
to
shield.
kind of lean around some machinery to see it. It's in a bit of a hidden spot, but his eyes go wide. He's stuttering. No, sir, I don't know what that is. That a line shunt? I would never. I have no idea. Um,
It's one of possibly even two that were placed to hack the psychic shield so that they could get access to the king.
Can we clarify something here? Did he actually look around the convoluted way that he would have to see this thing?
yes, yeah.
Okay.
I was making sure Robert knew that he couldn't see it from where he was standing. He'd have to get up in there close.
Yep.
So assuming he'd allow that.
He would.
But yeah, he seems, and just at face value, it seems to Kate like he's having a sincerely shocked, and then as he explains what it was used for, a horrified expression. And he's kind of stammering out how he was just trying to do his best to monitor the security systems. Wasn't sure what to do about all of the all the goings on, the attack and the chaos.
Yeah.
So as Brother Nick and Java are accompanying the Emperor, his soldiers, and he walks through the dressing room and the hall, some of the palace servants and folk who had been hiding and cowering are, on knees, hands outstretched, and he reaches a hand out as he passes and just touches his fingers to theirs and gives them a smile as he passes, and they're making expressions of relief and thanksgiving that he's okay. They seem bolstered by his apparently having come through it unscathed, or at least on his 2 feet. And in that manner, he barges into the security room. And he notices Cade, and he says, Breckenridge. Well,
Cade will give a brief bow and say, "Yes, my lord. I was trying to find out what happened to your psychic shield. I believe I have found a line shunt here, and there may be one more that I have not yet discovered."
He looks at the servant who's standing there, who cringes back and just basically withers, and is saying, "Well, Your Majesty, my lord, I don't know who, I don't know how." And he says, "Rest easy, we'll get to the bottom of this." Nods his head towards the servant, and one of the guards goes over and gently but firmly takes the man by arm and a shoulder and uh, leads him over to sit him down and gets him, trying to calm him down, figure out what else he might know. Um, I got some. Yes, I saw that message. That is done,
Thank you.
and so the Emperor lets Cade show him the line shunt, and he says, "If you believe there's another, then come with me." And he leads the way out in the hall to the far other end and through the last door on the left, which would be this one. Those of you watching the little shift map here. And yeah, opens the door into into a little kind of sitting room, lavishly and royally decorated. Leads the way through there and into what seems to be one of his private chambers. Giant, whatever the four-poster bed or whatever. It's got the drapes and all, the whole 9 yards, the whole royal treatment, and goes over to to what looks like one of the closets, and before he opens the door, he he looks at the three of you there in the room with him and says, "Obviously, not a word of any of this leaves this uh, leaves this room." And assuming you respond in the affirmative,
Oh yeah, it'll just say, "Of course."
um, and then he opens the door and feels it's a closet, but a little flipped switch just inside the door. The clothes racks slide aside, and little personal armory reveals itself. There's a power armor suit with a whole stand prepped to basically step into, and quite a bit of gear. And the closet has opened out into an even larger space than it had first appeared to allow. And he steps further in and looks around in between a couple of the weapons, opens a panel, then gestures Kay to come to take a look.
Okay. He'll approach.
And this is this is where in the blueprints would have indicated he wouldn't have necessarily known how to access this space, but he sees right where he expected to another line shunt, and he you see that the line shunt is placed, basically in among some wires and some sort of uh, some sort of computer devices that are built into his whole armory system. Um,
Yeah.
but you see something else that uh, should not be there. Give
Uh-oh.
me give me a let's see. Go
It's
ahead
a
and give
body. No,
me
just kidding.
What save are you wanting me to do?
no save. Um, I'm trying to think. I guess just a regular old program check would do the trick for your familiarity with your ability to recognize this.
That was
Uh,
a low roll.
that's not going to do it. You've got your reroll back, so you could use it.
Wow, Roll20's back to trying to kill me.
I would like
Um,
to request the one close out your browser and reopen it that we get per session.
oh my. Um, okay, so Cade is not sure what the other thing is, but he easily recognizes the line shunt and that there's something else plugged uh, into this access port that is it looks too advanced. It looks more advanced than a line shunt and too much to be a part of the system that he's looking at.
Okay. I think he would definitely start by disconnecting that. Not knowing what it does, he's gonna want to stop it from doing anything and see if he can turn it off.
Okay.
Just in case.
All right. He is able to, I guess, the line shunt and the strange device, or just the strange device.
Well,
Sure.
he's definitely going to disconnect the strange device first. He doesn't know what it
Okay.
does, he's gonna be paranoid.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. All right. Dex has a bad feeling about this.
Oh, so do I.
I found it amusing how often that line comes up in those movies.
It
What
really
line?
does.
I have a bad feeling about this. There's like 5 Star Wars gifs with basically that same line all in a row, and I felt all 5 were appropriate here.
Mm-hmm.
I wondered why my Discord lagged so hard. It was in the background minimized,
sorry.
and I pulled it back up, and it was like I can't see anything.
I didn't think about that. I'm sorry.
All right. So meanwhile, Saoirse and Nero have managed to revive another 4 of the Tabukan Royal Guard. 3 of them were already beyond her help by the time she was able to get to them. But then she was able, after that, to make it to Breckenridge Senior, who gave her a nod, and he did message her back, by the way,
Oh, good. Thank you.
that he acknowledging that, but he was having a hard time getting up to his feet until
You,
you were able to.
okay. Upon seeing him, then she would have asked if he needed anything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And before
Mhm.
he answered, she would have gone ahead and just grabbed his arm and healed him.
with a bit of a jolt, he'd say, Yes, that's exactly what I needed, actually.
She'll look very relieved, because it seems to be easier than she thought it was going to be.
Mm,
After recapitating the king, she kind of felt that familiar sort of scratching at the bottom, sort of empty
mhm,
feelings psionically that she'd felt
yeah,
back in that cave on Urala, um, after having to bring Brother Nick and Java back to life so many times. Um,
yeah,
so she had been muttering to herself about her own limits, and realizing that it's getting easier again has filled her with relief. Also, that Cade's dad is okay. That's a good, it's another sense of
mhm,
relief.
yeah. Um, so, yeah, he gestures to one of his bandages. One of his men starts unwrapping the tourniquet and bandage combo they put on one of his legs, and checks a bandage around his waist, and they're they're both surprised and pleased, and give Saoirse some looks of intense respect and appreciation, a little bit of awe.
She nods to them, and then looking at uh, Breckenridge Senior, she'll ask in her most polite way she can muster, though she still looks very visibly harried. She'll just
Mhm.
ask us, does anybody else need medical attention in your group?
Yes, I'm certain several of my men could use a bit of attention as long as it's not going to spread you too thin.
She'll gesture to one of the pews that's still intact and just barks out, please have them line up there and arrange them in order from worst to best. I'll try and help them as soon as I can. I'm trying to make sure we don't lose any more people today. And then she's going to turn around to Narrow.
Nero's already
Um,
searching. As soon
okay.
as Saoirse's talking about hoping we don't lose any more people, Nero just starts off into the room looking for those people.
Okay. Couple of them in there, in the throne room, look at each other. One kind of ribs the other about probably being the worst, and then they do go ahead and go sit down. Uh, but then a couple from the anteroom call out, and you find there are a couple more that need some help. Breckenridge Senior, uh, now on his feet and testing his legs, uh, starts heading back towards the back rooms as Saoirse had requested. And Saoirse suddenly feels uh, a almost a feeling that she might describe as like the humidity in the room has gone significantly up,
Hmm.
but she can immediately tell that it's part of her psychic sense.
Oh no. Okay, what is she sensing?
It's definitely Midas Psionics, but it is everywhere. It's suddenly it's like very suddenly like suffusing the air around her, and it's a it's a faint it's a faint feeling as far as these go. It feels very distinct from what she usually senses when she's witnessing someone channel some psychic power.
Shoot. Um, so is this the maybe the shield?
Seems likely.
Okay. Would she be familiar with the shield?
No, she's never felt anything like this. She's heard of things like this. Doesn't know doesn't know a lot about how they operate. Typically, people she's heard of them from didn't know much either. These are invariably ancient artifacts whose workings are not well understood. Um, yeah, and back in the back in the Emperor's closet, uh, Cade unplugs the thing. Doesn't find any any clear switch or button or anything on it to operate, but the little connector shifts and adopts a more, I guess, almost a blank. Um, what am I trying to say? Like, it seems like it reverts to some sort of base form. It looks blank, no actual contacts or connection, and like it had adapted and created the connector it needed whenever it was first used.
Gotcha.
And the Emperor, let's see, Narrow notice. Oh no, Narrow's not there.
Mm-mm.
Let's see. Does any of the three of you have the notice skill? Three of you that are there with the Emperor.
Cade might.
It's only
Oh, he's got a
0.
0.
Java's +1.
What is Java? He's +1 notice.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Give me a notice roll from Java. With wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
Rip.
Oh no.
No,
Okay.
that's not what I want to hear, Ben. You're not allowed to say rip.
No, sorry.
Mhm.
I use that phrase with many different meanings. It doesn't necessarily mean that anyone's about to die.
Yeah. Crush my heart.
Necessarily.
Not necessarily.
Exactly. Not necessarily. Uh-huh. Sure.
The Emperor is watching Cade and his reaction to the thing he's got in his hand. Then holds his hand out. May I?
May you?
Cade will think about it for a second and say, "Are we sure this isn't a bomb?"
Yes, actually. Have you seen one of these before?
I have not.
He takes it casually, holds it up to the light a bit. Says, "It is a strange design, but most certainly a stiletto charge. Once upon a time, these were commonplace, used for infiltrating more primitive systems." And he smiles sadly.
You have more
Unfortunately,
powerful enemies than you know, sire, and he will hand it to him with a
yes,
grave look on his face.
yes, I do. It looks like he's considering saying something, but
There was one we encountered. Was Ahriman was Ahriman here on Tabuk? I
yes,
lean towards yes. Okay. We encountered somebody who seemed to be in what I will just refer to as the game just for fun or collection of unique artifacts. And I
Hmm.
am not even sure that they were human or but they definitely had access to things they shouldn't have. I would guess this could have come from them.
He looks at Kate intently. Then I'll be certainly curious to hear all you have to say about this person.
Well, does the name Araman mean anything specific to you?
He seems a little surprised and, with a wry grin, says, "Ah, you mean Ahriman? Well, that is an interesting theory. Certainly not discounted, but I have my suspicions that they're not quite foolish enough to have attempted something of this scale.
Perhaps
Though,
not, but they were supplying um the Sons of Glory.
indeed. Hmm. Well, I assume you have evidence of this?
Pretty sure we kept evidence of it at some point out of character. I just don't recall very clearly.
Brother Nick, can he be thumbing through his data pad and play just that part of the conversation
Oh, he wants
he
to just
had
whip
with her?
it out and play it out. Uh, which, which part of the conversation particularly?
Shoot.
The part where when he told her that the Sons of Glory were staging their attack tonight, she said, "Well, I wish they'd stocked up with me before they had gone on with their little invasion."
That's a
Did you?
brilliant timing.
So you recorded that on your compad, basically?
Oh yeah,
Okay. Yeah,
You
you can
never
play.
trust Ahriman, Ben.
monks
Do you
didn't
not
raise no
remember?
fool.
Yeah, you can play
Oh
that.
my.
And the
See, it has a little tape rewind noise. Play the
yes,
snippet.
the emperor is surprised to see you whip out recordings on the spot, but he listens thoughtfully, and his amused smile broadening, he says, "Well, that does certainly sound like Ahriman. Need to have a chat with them about being a bit more discerning with their clientele.
Oh my
Can think
goodness.
can think of a few persuasive points that I could make." And a couple of the guards chuckle.
Let's
Yeah, Cade will
remember that.
definitely hold out the stiletto charge.
Sorry, what
He,
about this stiletto charge?
Cade will definitely because the king had asked about it. He will
Oh,
definitely hold it out towards the king.
yeah, he definitely took it once Kate had indicated he was done with it, and he's pocketed it. Um, he says "Well, thank you, Breckenridge, for your help and your service, you and your companions. You you have certainly accounted for yourself well, done your family proud.
Thank you, sir.
For now, we should reconvene at a later time. At the moment, I have pressing matters of state to attend,
I imagine so.
impending coup and whatnot. And he gestures imperiously for everyone to head back to the throne room, and he's and as soon as everyone's out, he quickly flips that switch to hide his little personal armory again, and seems to be watching you all a little closely to gauge your reactions, your intentions, and so on. But he
I mean, the dude was amused thinking that Araman could be connected to all this. I don't think he's a good judge of character. So,
Time to play ball with the sun.
but yeah, he basically shoos you all out, and he says once you're all back in front of him, on the way out, Kate's dad walks in and stops, bows to the emperor and asks after his health and, of course, the whole situation, and is given the a bare bones answer that he's doing well, and thanks in no small part to his own son's work. And as he passes Daddy Breckenridge, he stretches his hand out and places it gently on the top of his head as he's bowed, and he says, "Breckenridge, you and I will have some things to discuss. After the events of today, you've shown yourself a special brand of loyal." And then walks on. And Breckenridge Sr. seems a bit shell-shocked by that statement.
Yeah, buddy. Getting Daddy Breckenridge a promotion.
yeah,
Hopefully.
potentially.
Let's see. Excuse me. And all right,
So I think
so
I've got a question, Ben.
okay, what's your question?
Assuming nobody is stopping Nero.
Okay.
Oh no. Oh, Nero.
What's Nero about to do? Do I need to catch up on the little?
Well, I think the important part is
Are there no chairs in the throne room?
we're not in the throne room. We're outside with Breckenridge, aren't we?
No, we're still in the throne room.
Well, so Nero and
I
Saoirse
thought that's where the pew was.
Yeah, the pew was in the throne room. Nero may
Oh.
have gone out into the antechamber to help bring soldiers from the antechamber into the throne room to be seen to by Saoirse. Breckenridge Sr. left you guys to go back behind the throne room and check on Cade because Saoirse was worried about the Emperor.
There is at least the throne in the throne room.
Yeah, that is true.
Well, she's not going to get that.
To get her a chair. Nails it towards the back of a pew. She can find a chair that is still intact enough to sit in.
How far away is it?
It was on the far side of the antechamber.
How much easier would it be to actually carve the back off this pew?
Oh my stars.
If I think you should just do it. And you don't need to justify to me that Nero wants to cut a pew up.
Oh, she definitely wants to. It's just a matter of she's never used a wind cutter before.
I mean,
Oh,
it's
you know
not.
what? That's
It's not
actually
gonna
a
be
really good argument. She does it.
okay. I was gonna say it's not gonna be easier than just pulling over a chair, but give me a let's see. Give me a no check.
Easier than cleaving a
A
tank.
no check.
Yes.
With what's that?
With intelligence.
All right. It's actually pretty high for her.
Okay. So
Considering
she,
how much he has obsessed over wind cutters, it's not surprising.
so she visually assesses the pew, picturing in her mind the right cut, the balance of the potential pew chair, and then with a decisive swing, she slices through it. It's every bit as easy as she expected. In fact, she puts a bit of a gash in the floor.
Now she's only trying to slice off the back of it. The way I'm picturing this is, if you got pews, there's the bench, the pew on which the soldiers are lined up, and then there's a pew in front of that. Saoirse needs a seat to work on the soldiers, so she's wanting to carve the back off of the pew in front so that it's a two-way seat. You could sit normally, facing forward,
Oh,
or
like
you
a
can sit backwards, looking back
oh,
at the
like a
soldiers.
bench. Oh,
Mhm.
okay. She's not trying to like.
No,
Oh,
she's
okay.
not trying to carve a
She's just
whole
carving
chair.
the backrest off, is what
Okay,
I'm
okay.
hearing. She's just carving
Yeah.
the backrest off of it.
Oh, okay. That's not nearly as
Intensive.
as tricky as what I was imagining. I don't think.
No, I think you were trying to think too complex for Narrow Ben.
Probably so.
Giving
Well,
Nero too much credit.
certainly going by her skill check there. All right. Well, she's successfully sliced the back off of uh, part of this pew here, and she's drawn some strange looks from various soldiers.
I'm just imagining Saoirse was like, looking somewhere else, doing something, and all of a sudden, swoosh, swoosh.
And clatter crash. Yeah, so there now is some sort of bench looking seat in front of Nero.
She sheaths the wind cutter.
All right. That's not nearly as bad
Saoirse,
as I was-
upon turning around and raising an eyebrow at that, doesn't even say anything. She just sits down, making a mental note to be much more specific with Nero in the future now that she has a wind cutter.
All right. So as you're all as you're kind of recovering, the emperor and his coterie come out to the throne room. Saoirse actually faintly detects some teleporter psionics again, but it's in a strange it's in some sort of strange way diluted by the metapsionic fog of sorts that's using everything, and it doesn't almost as soon as she perceives it, it fizzles out and dissipates,
Interesting.
and clearly failed. Excuse me. She's just barely able to make out that oh, garbage, sorry. suddenly got a cramp in my rib cage. Blah. um, it was perceptive dislocation. Um, an attempt, but oof. Anyway, yeah. So the emperor comes on out and addresses everyone in the room, and he says, "Breckenridge and your companions, you have the emperor's thanks for your service to the throne today, in sparing my life and securing my palace against this attempted coup. My men report to me that the attack on the palace itself has ceased, though there are still reports of unrest and some sort of skirmishes going on around parts of the city. And the station, the capital station, has suffered severe damage. I ask you all to please take rest in my guest chambers. You have honored positions awaiting you, and expressions of royal thanks. I can assure you that you will be richly rewarded for what you've done here today, and I will have many questions for all of you. But for now, I must rest, and I must direct the efforts to restore this kingdom from this outrageous attack."
Saoirse, who would have stopped healing at that point, um, to take a break to listen to what he had to say, would have been watching Cade to see how he responded to that.
Oh, he was very neutral, but diplomatic. He's
Yeah,
not
so
dumb
like
enough to antagonize the king.
if he bows, I guess is what she's looking for. Like, how does he
Oh.
go about bowing and things like that?
Oh yes, he is definitely very proper with the bow.
Okay, she'll copy him to the best of her abilities.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so what you guys can pick up, and Cade is already aware of this, but basically it's certainly appropriate to bow and remain doing so for a short time when the emperor enters the room, approaches you. But once he has either passed by or is sticking around long enough to address you or the group of you, it seems it's accepted and appropriate to, you know, end the bow and listen. And once he's finished whatever proclamation he's made, it is customary to respond with some expression of subservience and acknowledgement. Usually another slight bow, not as pronounced as before, but
Lots of bowing and fawning.
indeed.
Yada yada yada.
That's the most in character thing you've said all night.
That feels like something he would whisper to Saoirse at the back of the room as they're going through the motions of acknowledging
Oh,
the king's
absolutely.
proclamation.
Saoirse would have to struggle so hard not to laugh.
Don't laugh
She
now. I
would
don't want you to die.
she would again try not to laugh at that, but she would coming up from her bow straighten her face out and just say in her normal voice, as Cade has tried, or as Cade has pointed out to her, her voice isn't normal to most people. Um, it it was an honor to serve you, our king.
And
And Saoirse's finished up healing uh, the men on the pew.
yeah, she has.
Okay.
And let's see. So at this point, basically, so reinforcements have arrived, more royal guard, and also more regular Jabukan military, and they're posting up um, in the throne room and outside. Um, the, the Emperor's escort itself has been bolstered significantly. He's got about a dozen royal guard, many of whom are the freshly healed and missing bits and pieces of their armor, but they're they're all watching and guarding him carefully, and the rest of you are being led and shown to and given a military and royal guard escort to as the seems like they're still sweeping through the palace, making sure to uh, check every nook and cranny for signs of remaining dissidents. They're showing you to your guest quarters should you accept them.
I
Um,
figure they probably would.
yeah,
A
Saoirse
fight
is
like that?
Saoirse's at the point where her dress has stopped really being of any help to wipe blood off of her hands, so she's gonna accept that.
Okay. All right. And so yeah, um you guys will of course get the opportunity to take a full rest and all that.
Okay.
Regain one system strain each and your level in hit points.
Nero could also use some healing, Danielle.
All right. Yeah, go ahead and
Yes, she would definitely do that.
yeah, you guys
Velvet's fault.
Java could use some healing too. He's
Yeah.
led down into that room.
Once they're in the room, Saoirse would kind of slide onto the floor and sit for a moment, and then she would just say, "Get give me 60 seconds, and then I promise I will heal you."
I'm okay. He's bad though.
um let's
Do
see
you want
guys.
me to roll
So
for healing, Ben? Because I don't think I can on my iPad.
oh yeah, I can handle that. Let's
I was just excited I was able to type.
um we'll I may handle some of that in the post session or whatever. 'Cause
Yeah.
we can handle making sure everybody gets whatever hit points they need and account for all the system strain and stuff appropriately. Um, go ahead and for now, go ahead and take whatever hit point recovery you would get for your rest. Um, and which oh by the way, I guess it's a good point to mention that uh, like several of the
Excuse
other
me.
things that scale with level, that w- that feature, hit point recovery on rest, should also stick to 10, even once you've gone past, since we're keeping hit point scaling to level 10.
Yeah, I figured that. Go, Nick.
Reward.
Nick is savage. Goodness.
Let's see here. Okay. We're already looking at 10:30. Goodness. So let me kind of summarize how uh, this all kind of pans out, and the sort of the updates you guys get about what all went on. Um, the main contingent of army and I guess Breckenridge Guard that defended the palace were successful in repelling the Sons of Glory attack at the entrance to the palace, which seems like may have been may have been planned as a diversion more than primary attack itself. There were a couple small squads of Sons of Glory rooted out from other parts of the palace where they had apparently teleported in, and either had lost their ride home, or had been prevented from leaving by the reactivation of the psychic shield.
Sucks to suck.
Out in the city at large, there were some skirmishes between Sons of Glory and a couple groups of basically militia, impromptu
I
militia.
can't wait. Yeah, I can't wait for the king to find out the exact timeline of our radio address.
Yeah, and that seems like the sort of thing that probably came to his attention pretty quickly. But yeah, you find out that there were the Sons of Glory did attack a couple of other key, I guess, key infrastructure locations, and had mixed successes. They were able to commandeer a couple of the breaker guns, but were not successful in taking all of them. And so there were some attacks from orbit that succeeded in causing some moderate damage. There were some civilian casualties. The police, a couple police stations, and even the headquarters were severely damaged. But several of those attacks failed, thanks to swift intervention of a variety of armed people. Um, unfortunately, as the Emperor had indicated, you find out more detail later that the capital station was in fact severely damaged and is going to require extensive repairs. The Sons of Glory did not manage to take it over successfully as they planned, but they did destroy a significant portion of the Tabukan fleet in orbit and lost, though, to be fair, a good portion of that was their own ships that had previously been part of the Tabukan fleet. And they managed to disable the ships guarding the shipyard and seem to have done some damage there. And it's not very clear what else may have been done. The information regarding the shipyard and its operation is always pretty limited as far as what makes it out to the general public. There's enough, and even also getting some information from Bruce, he was able to see some of the explosions and the ships entering and then leaving the shipyard. And you also find out that the throne room and King's chambers are being deconstructed and moved. That in an unprecedented move, the Emperor is having the throne room of the palace relocated to another part
Hmm.
of the palace grounds.
Oh wow.
Probably faster than rebuilding.
This isn't something that comes across the public airwaves. This comes by way of Breckenridge Senior, and you're told it's not exactly going to be hidden, but it hasn't been announced quite yet, as the some of the details of the attack inside the palace are not going to be made public, and the Emperor's official response has yet to be made known.
You mean the whole "I died" part is not going to be made known? Really?
And you suspect that's probably one of the things that will manage to miss being included on the presentation. Yeah, he tells you that
Also,
that you would
I
want to
I
know.
do have a question about that, by the way.
Okay.
How common exactly is it, particularly in this part of the system, for, or at least how much of that is known of people who are capable of doing that?
Oh, people who are capable of teleporting in to
No,
the.
recapitating someone's head.
Oh. Got you on that part. So that is not like. I mean, it's by no means unheard of. Um, but it is relatively unusual. You get the impression that the emperor, though in the moment, was certainly, surprised and trying to process what had just happened. In the aftermath of it, he seemed to more or less take it in stride that someone would be capable of doing that sort of thing. And even going by the responses of the guards and the other soldiers that um, both had seen that and also your healing later on. Uh, it's understood that you know people who can heal and who can continue to heal on it on end, those those sorts of people are relatively common as far as psychics go, and those are people that everyone likes as far as psychics. So
Yeah. Okay. So she's just gonna be keeping her mouth shut about any other psychic things she can do, since she
mhm,
seems to be in the "we like you" camp right now. Okay. Cool.
she is, and she
I guess I
knows
felt
that.
like that level of healing felt more advanced and like regrowing someone's head, and so I was just wondering if there's any mention of that. Um,
It definitely is. I mean, it's a level 2 ability, so it's definitely not every Bioscion can do that kind of healing. Um, but for people in the Emperor's orbit, it would be not uns it would not be surprising for there to be someone with that level of skill.
then where were they?
That's a good question.
Hmm. Now she's gonna be sus on every healer in that palace.
Right?
um,
Or just I don't know. Anyway,
yeah, I mean that is a fair question.
like if you're the king slash emperor, why do you not have just a bunch of these people around you at all times?
Yeah, and you would suspect that he does probably usually have those. He certainly does have people with that skill uh, in his in his staff on call, whatnot. But yeah, the question of where they were at that specific time is a good
Thanks. I like to ask good questions. Carry on.
one. um, so as far as gaining audience with the Emperor, because you all do have questions for him, you have requests, suggestions, you have input on the steps moving forward. Um, it's a couple of days before you get any before you receive an
Airtime.
invitation. Yeah. Um,
Audience.
Especially
and
after what happened last time.
sorry, say what?
Especially after what happened last time we got airtime.
um, and you're not confined to your quarters by any means, but the the army and guard presence is significant everywhere you go in the palace, and you see that the city itself is on high alert, and you hear that martial law has been put into effect temporary basis, especially with
Mhm.
the some of the police headquarters having been severely damaged. Military has a significantly increased presence in the city, and you hear some reports of continued unrest and some protest in other cities, but the capital is is pretty calm as far as the protests and rioting that had been going on. before. And there's no more fighting that you hear about. The orbit is peaceful. You do find out that a handful of ships made off, left the planet, and their whereabouts are not being made public knowledge. But it seems like some of the Sons of Glory made an exit stage left. that they
Do
could
we
apply.
know if Brother Nick and Java's propaganda video has continued to make its rounds?
Yes, and the from what you can see, the government has not made any efforts to quash it. It was disseminated a little bit too thoroughly and quickly for them to be able to scrub it, and so, but they've also made no comment on it yet. Some of
Hmm.
the news has commented on that fact, but only briefly, as but they have indicated they're expecting an official response to the shocking and concerning and horrifying allegations that had been made, and the disturbing evidence that was presented. So, that brings you to an audience with the Emperor, and all of you are invited, and this is it's presented to you as essentially a this is audience that is somewhat routinely given to anyone with serious business to bring before the Emperor. And
So glad
there
he
will
feels so comfortable with us.
and there are expected to be other senior officials and functionaries present at the meeting. And for the time being, until the throne room is relocated, he is still holding audience in the old one. So you're allowed access to the antechamber and escorted in with some ceremony. You all have been asked to, basically dress appropriately for audience with the Emperor. And
Dress appropriately for audience with the Emperor.
so, to whatever extent you can, and we'll gloss over this and whatnot, get bogged down in the details. But if any of you were lacking some sort of formal wear, then it would have been provided and sized accordingly.
Narrow approves.
Yeah, there. And well, I'll note, this is maybe obvious, but sidearms and melee weapons are allowed, even on audience with the Emperor, but nothing larger than a one-handed sword or a pistol sort of weapon. And
Does that include Nero? Just like Nero completely, all of Nero?
Yeah,
I'm kidding. I don't know if they know about Nero.
so that is actually a good question because
She did pop
um
guns in the fight.
yeah, she did. And incidentally, power armor is not appropriate attire. So she,
Goodness.
so she
You know
would
what
be
I'm thinking? We bust out our red royal wear again.
Nero is, of
Y'all
course.
remember that?
I do remember. And Nero is, of course,
Yeah,
pouting,
kinda.
and the first thing she asks is, "Do I have to go?"
Saoirse tells her that. Actually, so she says, "Do I have to go?"
Yeah.
Is she asking Saoirse this?
Yes.
Saoirse is going to respond with kind of a grin, but she'll say, "Who else do you think I could trust to be there?"
Ooh, twisting your arm.
Yeah. That.
And we'll
Nero
get ice
has no
cream after.
response. She just puts on what
Does
Saoirse
brother
tells her to
Nick?
put on.
Does brother Nick pop up with? We'll go get
Yeah,
ice cream
the ice
afterwards.
cream.
Saoirse would go, "Ooh, that sounds like a great idea."
Nero is trying so hard not to be a kid excited about ice cream, but she is a kid excited about ice cream.
Nice. I like how there's like a level of awareness where she's like, "I know what you guys are doing," but also that she doesn't care.
Yeah.
Yep. That was Nero, all right.
At this point, Java's probably already dressed, just inching closer.
yeah, so upon filing in and being granted granted seats towards the front of the throne room, the seating is pretty well filled already. Quite a lot of people that none of you recognize or hold any obvious rank, but are all intent on watching your entrance, and most of whom seem to be present as observers and listeners, and not so much being prepared to speak. And an announcer of sorts calls out all your, I guess, first, of course, introduces the emperor and starts listing off other people who are present. Would you all have given him your names? I guess given them your names.
Hers would have been Captain Milo.
Okay.
Oh, Captain, my space captain.
Best believe it. Better
guess
be
let me
your
put it
space
this way.
captain at this point.
Was anyone giving a, basically not giving their identity, their name?
I mean, Java, for sure.
Java.
Considering he knows better, he knows no better. All right, so then you're all announced as well, and you are given a chance to make your petition. There had been some notes made of the things that you wanted to request of the king slash emperor, and I'm inclined, especially considering the time, that we don't get into uh, speechifying in character at this point, because there's there are quite a lot of points to cover, and a lot of potential back and forth and posturing and all
Ben
that.
said, "Please don't make me do it."
Also figuring, another 45 minutes of that might be a bit much. So, let's see. Do you have? I'm looking to see. Yeah, your 1B mentions presenting your quote unquote demands. Do you have those listed out anywhere? I believe it. I
It's in
seem to
the
recall
pin
this.
messages, yeah.
Good. Okay. All right. So demands for each party. So the Tabuk list is what you would be demanding of Tabuk, or at least requesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I will just ask generally, what kind, I guess, how you frame these, and what sort of, maybe what sort of tone you
we're
take.
taking?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that Brother Nick would be framing all of this as, just we're giving counsel of, here's the stuff we know. After I guess kind of reiterating, like, Ed from the broadcasted speech, that they've been involved in, trying to bring things to a, good and peaceful conclusion with the invasion on Urala, and that it led us to interacting with the Sons of Glory and finding out about the stuff they'd been doing. And it's from there just kind of laying out our points that there's a need to deal with the Sons of Glory to stop them from doing any more coup attempts,
Oh no.
as
Okay.
well as or I guess not the whole time. I guess not giving any real imperatives, just pointing out that that they'll continue to pose a threat if don't make sure the organization is dismantled. And pointing out how they'd brought this problem of Maltech, and we're assuming the invasion of Urala, that all this is on them, and that the king can put a right to these wrongs, and
Thereby securing his legacy.
Yeah,
Mhm.
repudiate them and their actions, and show himself to be a wise and just ruler.
Okay.
Yeah, basically we're sure that you didn't attempt genocide on a pacifist people.
Mhm.
Like we're so sure, our good king.
It couldn't have been you.
Oh, emperor, our emperor.
And then, I guess also, saying that, that'll really put the CIS, their minds at ease. Put the, end the guerrilla actions of the rebelling Uralans. And
Mhm.
do we want to bring up the Gakari? And I guess we got to open that can of worms at some point.
The Gakari are several of your bullet points, so I do definitely need to know if they are
I guess
being
I was
included or not.
thinking, that's easier in private negotiations than public audience. But I guess
Well, it's also forcing him to recognize publicly
Yeah.
that it's not cool to create Maltech.
And I guess what could a little public arm twisting hurt? We're already in too deep.
Yeah, we can't
Yeah.
back out now.
So you did paste video evidence, a lot of it from a secret research lab, all over the public of
See,
Jakari.
it's already out there.
that's out there.
So
So
yeah, I guess to
the
also bring up that we've been in communications with their queen and some of the
Maybe you would
remaining
say with their
Jakari.
peoples.
Yeah, with their peoples and
okay.
Not sure we really want to make him too aware about
yeah, how aware of the
the power
hierarchy.
since we're not sure.
And so you
Ah,
mention you mention Jakari sovereignty and claims on his Korkupiets. Um, that's also going to be part of the discussion or part of the petition you put before the emperor.
Ben's phrasing has me on edge now.
Maybe not right off the bat in public audience. I figured there's some finer points to hammer out. I think
All
in
right.
at least the public
I think
audience, we're getting him pinned on the principle of
So
like, oh
let's
yeah, this is all really bad.
so go
I'm against
go
all.
let's just do this then. Let's go down the list here on the pinned message, and if you can edit that and put a strike through on any of the ones that are not going to be brought up uh, in this audience here. If you're angling for some sort of more private setting to address some of these things, then
that was for sure what
we
we
can,
wanted.
then
Mhm.
uh, we can put a can have or,
Put a pin in it for later.
yeah, put a pin in that, and we can sort out how and whether that will actually happen. So arrest and trials of all
I
sons of
think
Gory members, I assume, stays.
Yeah.
I think
Mount.
a way to put it is that we're really trying to get him to publicly condemn a lot of these things that were made public knowledge.
Hmm.
Um, and we're trying to give him like a public out for being like, "Oh yeah, that's so bad, and we know you wouldn't do that." And he's like, "Yeah, that is bad, and I totally would not have done that. Thank you, my loyal subjects, for
Yeah.
bringing light and vanquishing darkness, and I, as the king, will continue to do that." Like that's what we're like,
Yeah.
sort of wanting to like pressure him to do publicly, and then we're kind
Mhm.
of giving him an out and not making him commit to anything publicly.
Okay.
Do you know
Um.
what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, I think so. So
We're playing politics,
yeah. So free
literally.
imprison Jakari, stay
Yeah,
or
I feel
go.
like that's good public relationship
Okay.
stuff.
Cease war on Urala and relinquish claims to the planet.
yeah, that's a big one.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Publicly apologize for harms to the Jakari and pay reparations.
Yeah, I
Okay.
guess public apology, public, and might hammer out the specifics of any
Okay. And
reparations. So
Taiwan.
yeah, we brought them in. I guess public apology.
Did you include um
I think
did
they'd
you
been in the
include
public
any
address.
information in that public address? Okay. I it's been a little while since I had looked through that.
Yeah.
Um, I might need to go back and check on exactly what you guys put out there that constituted the evidence you have about Taiwan
Yeah, I
situation.
think our evidence on that was light on the ground, but
Yeah, it was
we were
definitely.
Yeah, I don't
throwing
know that
out
we
our.
have enough on Taiwan.
I, I I will
We might put a
say
pin in that one.
I'll say at the moment, just I think it would probably be safe for you to even say in character that the that you do not have ironclad evidence of the Taiwan situation.
Mm.
Um, I had I had thought you left that out of the public address thing, but I might be
I
wrong.
thought so
Um,
too, but
so either way, we'll strike through that for now. I'll leave that out of the address to the king here. Jakari sovereignty and claims on his Korkupiets.
Putting a pin in that one.
Okay. replacing SOG supporters with moderates.
Yeah, I think we're putting a pin in that. I guess since he's resting and trying, and then we can hammer out, who takes any places of
Okay.
officials. Or, if he's like, oh, but I really like Joe, my minister of commerce.
It's like, sir, Joe tried to kill you last week.
Appointing you as intermediaries between Tabuk and the CIS.
Yeah, I guess get that in principle, and that would kind of be our wrap up of like that based on our previous experience on Urala with the CIS and the Gakari, that we think it would be good for everyone to meet and hammer out official negotiations.
And
that
we're
we would
happy
be
to
happy
facilitate
to
that.
to facilitate.
Okay.
So that's kind of our wrap up.
All right. So, you make your case. Go ahead and give me a talk check.
Oh, snap.
Hang
It
on.
all comes down to one talk check.
I've got something that I think might sway things just a little bit. Hang on real quick. Let me post this to chat.
Okay.
Oh,
It'll
my
be important
word.
to see what Nero is wearing.
Oh,
Bam.
my stars.
+1 bonus.
Fancy jacket.
I'm kidding.
Nice.
That is a really
Can
cool
Saoirse-
jacket. I'm swayed.
Can Saoirse assist him with her authority?
Let's see.
Says you may be a king, but I'm a player character.
I just say that because, like, when you look at the authority thing,
yeah, I would let you
it's more
use.
about commanding respect, I think, than
Yeah. So.
and pulling rank.
Right. So. I would say that you could. I would treat that as like a parallel thing to Brother Nick's attempts to persuade the Emperor. If you wanted to try to invoke authority, you could. I'd let you pick one of the requests / demands on that list, but I will say that invoking that authority in this context is going to be high risk, high reward.
Brother Nick, do you want to try and just make the talk check or not have me help you, essentially?
I guess would you want to have like a help roll that at least get us like a +1?
Yeah, you could certainly do a help roll with your lead skill, just on his regular old talk.
I think what I would want to do. Oh, man, it's not letting. Stop it! Sorry, it's not letting me. I'm trying to scroll on here. There we go.
I'll
Okay.
give you the chance to try to invoke authority
Help roll with what?
after we find out what how it goes for Brother Nick. You could help with lead.
Okay. Any modifier or no?
No.
Okay. And what should I use for that? Wisdom or
Yeah, wisdom is fine.
Okay.
Any chance this is a talking with intelligence moment as well?
This is definitely charisma.
Sadness. And my +0 charisma.
Well, I did my best for you, sir.
All right. Take a +1, Brother Nick.
Oh my goodness.
Snap.
Oh,
What?
Okay, I get to re-roll all those,
Triple
right? For diplomacy.
ones? Triple one.
Triple ones in the key moment, man. At least I can still turn that.
This is when I invoke our close the browser and reopen it.
I'll let's see. I'll let you invoke as the leader of the party in this scene.
Yeah.
I'll allow you to tap into Cade's reroll for
Well, no, I get that for
partial
diplomat,
success.
right?
Oh, you do get to reroll all of them for diplomat anyway. I forgot about that.
Yeah. Okay, there we go. Some sixes.
Wow, you literally go from rolling
The most
Snake
swingy
eyes
dice.
to nat 12. Okay.
Heck
Well,
yeah.
like that's
Yeah, I
almost a
suppose that'll do it.
that's a 1 in 216 chance. That's nuts.
I got the 1 in 36. I guess the odds are a little different with the 3d6 drop 1, but yeah.
Amen. Well, let it never be said that that the diplomat focus is
That just
underpowered or
saved our
underutilized.
bacon.
Certainly did.
Taking that on a lark at level 2 way back when is
Yeah. I was going to or we were going to see how some partial successes panned out.
I mean,
Um,
Cade could potentially assist with something like administer, but
yeah. All right. So we've got that rousing success. And go ahead and give me. I'm going to need one more. This one can get another help roll from somebody for some.
intercepted you, Ethan.
oh no.
Perfect time. Perfect time. Perfect pair of
Oh
gifts.
no.
What?
Yeah, it was both situations right there.
Oh no!
All wrapped up in one roll.
Oh my!
Man.
Saoirse's wishing she'd spent a couple extra gold credits, whatever you want to call it, on a lawyer.
All right. Okay, so judging by Brother Nick's presentation of all your requests and suggestions to the Emperor, it appears that he is
Did we
taking
tell
them.
our tale like 300 messenger style or what?
It sounds like you're leaving out unnecessary details for now, and saving
Oh,
some of the
definitely.
juicier stuff and more sensitive stuff for later. Um, but yeah. So as you go down the list and wrap up, um, the Emperor stands and stretches out his arms, and he provides a fairly succinct response to each of those, but also quite decisive in several cases. He makes it clear in no uncertain terms that anyone aligned with the political group known as the Sons of Glory is going to be under a severe imperial investigation, and anyone found having materially aided or abetted the coup that took place um, will be punished according to the severity of their crimes. Now he does leave room for some interpretation that perhaps some people who had given less direct support and maybe hadn't been uh, willing to go to the point of attacking Tabuk itself and the Emperor, might be some more lenient terms for them. But rolling into that same proclamation, he disavows any and all knowledge of Maltech research and development, and
As
especially the knowing use of any such weaponry against any other sovereign power, sentient life forms. And he vows to root out any such technology, put an end to its use and its development. Um, he does not, however, claim put an end to the war on Urala. He does announce that he is enacting a ceasefire
Uh-oh.
against Urala and will redouble his efforts on negotiations with the leadership of Urala. And the ceasefire will at minimum last until he can conclude his investigation into the Sons of Glory and determine what influence they may have had over his. He does say his campaign against the Uralan government, and he also, as an addendum, decries the conditions that were made public in the propaganda video you put out. Conditions in some of the cities of Urala, and that Tabuk does not make a habit of putting civilians in the line of fire. And so yes, the Sons of Glory will be held to account for any violations of Tabukan military policy as well. Regarding the Jakari, the harms done to them and any that may be imprisoned, he does publicly apologize for the inhumane conditions in which they were kept and the experimentations that were done upon them. But he stops short of vowing to free any that may be imprisoned by the Sons of Glory, or commit to any sort of reparations, but indicates that having been made aware of this new alien, these new alien species or life forms, that an assessment will have to be made of their
Sentient.
their sentience and their demeanor, their intentions towards humankind, and so on and so forth, before he can make any sort of rash commitments of that nature. But he appreciates the information and the hard work that you've done in exposing what had been done and their existence. And as he delivers that part, his piercing gaze passes over each of you as you sense that he has some pointed questions about what you know and what you have done regarding the Jakari.
Saoirse meets his gaze. She might look a little angry.
Let's see. And as far as the Confederation of Independent Systems. He thanks you for your offer to serve as intermediaries on behalf of the CIS, and is willing to enter into a discussion about that possibility. He'll need to put you in touch with his diplomats, basically, and they will have to interview you and or brief you on Tabukan foreign policy and determine whether you're a compatible fit.
Suitable.
But he does agree
Disappointed
to
there.
in broad terms, he agrees to a meeting with representatives of the various factions, even including the Jakari, to
Ooh.
establish some sort of formal relations. Though he does again emphasize the need to determine the truth about the nature of the Jakari.
Okay, can I ask what's probably kind of a meta question, but I need to ask my crew this.
Okay.
Is there anything that you guys feel like would have been important enough for Saoirse to try and use her authority to try and sway the king's opinion?
The one that's most important to narrow is also, in my opinion, the one that is least likely to succeed.
Yeah, same. The whole conflict with Urala.
Yep.
Leaving Urala alone.
Yeah.
See, mine, thinking about it, I feel like in Danielle Land, in Saoirse's mind, the one that would have made her the most, what she would have wanted the most, I guess, would have been securing our spot as representatives.
Mm.
If that makes sense. But yeah, also the Uralan people being shown mercy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'll point out the caveat I gave that it would be high risk, high reward. I would confine that to whichever single point you were trying to address. So you wouldn't tank the entire array of requests that you made by trying to press one particular issue, and backlash would
I had figured as
certainly
much,
depend
but
on like the how serious the request is that you're trying to push.
Yeah.
But it sounds like you are electing to forgo that for now.
well, I'm trying to. I haven't gotten a response from
Oh,
anyone
okay.
yet.
I'll shut up and let you.
Oh, I had agreed with Dex about Cade's take would be more about Urala and is the least likely to succeed. So
Yeah. If as an alternate, one that I think is more likely to succeed, his refusal to or declining to free the remaining Jakari is super sus, and is also like raising the hackles on the back of Nera's neck. Like,
that's a good point.
that's such an easy thing to just be like, oh yeah, these wounded puppies, these abandoned puppies were mistreated. Of course we'll free them. That's so easy to say, even if they are aliens. Vicious aliens.
Even if they're lobster puppies.
Even if they're lobster puppies. Yeah, but I mean, just being able to be told, hey, there's these creatures. They might not be sentient. They might not be sapient. We don't really know, but they are creatures, at least on the level of dogs or horses, and they've been imprisoned. Will you free them? No. So wrong.
And we're not even saying free them on your planet. We are saying free them on an irradiated planet where there is no sentient life forms,
Yeah.
as far as Tabuk is aware.
Well, you guys did not bring up underscore Coop yet. That point was
Publicly.
shelved. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
That was pinned for later.
So would it be
Which I
better,
will add
Ben?
at this.
Would it be better if we waited on Saoirse's authority role until we do speak privately, or would it like make no difference and would basically just kind of lose her the opportunity to do it now?
That is a very good question.
Because if we
I'm gonna-
push it now and he takes umbrage, then we may lose the ability to push anything later in private discussion.
Let's see. Would one of you like to give me a Would one of you like to give me like maybe a no check, or perhaps even a notice could be appropriate here?
Saoirse would not be the person to do that.
I could do the notice if you let me use Dex.
Cade knows things.
Not gonna be
No.
Dex.
Cade knows things. Cade knows things
Yeah.
also about.
Yeah, in fact, that brings up a good point. Even an administer check, that actually
Yeah.
would be
Okay.
appropriate in this situation if you want to take that angle.
Do it, Robert.
Yeah. Okay. Administer then. Oh, administer strength. I'm gonna administer charisma or with something else.
Yeah, let me think. I think administer with intelligence is appropriate here.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Boom. Almost max
Yeah.
roll.
So, Cade would
Thank goodness.
Cade would certainly know that pressing the issue on any of these points in this setting, it does give you the added pressure of it being public, but that has a very high likelihood of backfiring. If the Emperor feels like he's being called out or pressured too pointedly in this relatively public setting.
Okay.
He,
Cade probably would have coached the most likely people who are speaking beforehand about this, being like, hey,
yeah,
we can't back him too hard into a corner. He's just gonna take back the
Mhm.
favor.
Yeah, I think that's appropriate to assume that that would have been discussed beforehand. So yeah, he would think, assuming you are able to secure some sort of more private meeting with the Emperor, that is at least much less likely to go badly because there will be less pressure for the Emperor to maintain his authoritative air. So, Danielle, conclusion?
She'll hold her tongue for now.
All right. Then the audience continues for a bit. The Emperor goes on to explain some of the fallout of the coup and some of the and reassure the people present that the damage done, lives lost, will be recompensed as best as the Empire can do. That they will restore order in short form, and that life and business will continue as it had before.
Keep calm and carry on and all that jazz.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that and yeah, basically that oh, he does make mention of the fact that there has been some concern about the whereabouts of certain cabinet heads or cabinet members being missing or
Mm.
unable to be contacted, and that he's going to get to the bottom of that as soon as possible, but that some of them are known to have had some sort of ties to the Sons of Glory faction. Therefore, can be suspected that they are that they may be in the wind.
Because they're dirty, rotten traitors.
Yeah, and there are some questions asked of from the audience, but those are for the most part avoided or deferred, and it's emphasized that some official statements, especially concerning the matters that were addressed in the audience today, will be made shortly. And with that, the audience is concluded, and the emperor returns to his private quarters, and you're all given the opportunity to mill around and mingle or file out. You do get some. You do start getting swarmed a bit by interested parties who start asking all sorts of questions and trying to pry into what you know about some of the particularly sensitive matters
Oh, we
that
mingle.
unfolded the last couple days.
Oh, we mingle.
Brother Nick, glad hands, made sure to work his way through the crowd to is kind of answer questions, and I guess he's also working to steer matters of conversation. I guess saying without saying his displeasure at some of the things that the king was unwilling to agree to.
Such a shame that the king's hands are tied on such matters. I suppose even the emperor can't do everything.
Oops.
And were there media figures present?
There were not.
Okay, I was figuring as much, but I was going to say if there are, he is also making sure to work his way over to the.
Yeah, the emperor in all your communications so far has avoided making any specific mention of what he thought of your address to the public.
It's okay. We know. He didn't like that.
Yeah, we took
Yeah, that was kind of
control
like
out of his
pulling rank.
hands. Yeah.
Yep.
Definitely, in a sense, well, didn't exactly go behind his back, but just went public versus bringing the
Around
concerns
it.
to authority. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, when he responds to the freeing of Gikari and ceasing war on Urala with a no, he gives a retroactive reason for us to have gone around his back.
Oh man.
So he does. Well, we're gonna
Yeah.
go ahead and end on time-ish tonight, or at least we'll end the active play part of the session on time.
Okay.
And I guess with the note that as the audience concludes and people filter out, you are approached by a palace messenger who hands you basically a summons from the emperor for a time later the same day in a private audience chamber.
Saoirse will look at it and then hand it to Brother Nick and ask him whether or not she'll be busy powdering her nose or not.
So yeah, I suppose we will go with that next time. I hope that went smoothly enough as far as addressing all the points that you brought to the emperor's attention
I don't feel like we
without
got
taking
everything we
too much.
wanted.
Well, surprise, surprise.
Man.
Darn.
But I wanted it really badly.
Oh man, wait, really?
Yeah.
Okay, well, hold on, guys. In that
Rip.
case, let me
Okay.
let me think here for a second. You should have just said that, Dex. Goodness.
I'm sorry, I thought you knew.
I, for one, though, was expecting us to be sent on an inquisition. So,
Mm.
You mean
like,
the
yes,
Inquisition
yes.
coming for us?
No, us being sent on an inquisition for. I'm so glad you let me know about those dirty, rotten sons of glory. Now you have the privilege and the honor of hunting them all down for me.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
Yeah, it was a risk.
So,
Hey, don't
kind
disregard the
of glad we didn't.
possibility.
Oh my word!
You did just get handed a private summons.
I spoke too soon.
So plenty of time for that kind of trouble.
Don't worry, guys. I am certainly intending to leave you choice in the matter. You are not going to be strong-armed into doing the emperor's bidding after you've worked so
say
long and
that.
hard. I mean, unless you guys just really get yourselves. I'll just say I'm not trying to railroad you guys into doing another sovereign state's bidding.
Seems to be a theme.
Poor Ben,
I'm
you're
not
never going to
trying
live that
to.
down.
You guys just make it so easy.
I also gave you guys plenty of opportunity to go do different stuff or whatever, but you decided that you really wanted to take up the cause for Urala, so that you made that your own.
Oh yes, because we decided to
It's
smear
our fault.
bodies across the front of a plane. Yes.
No, I'm not saying that. Obviously, the initial part was most certainly strong-armed, but even in that, you had freedom.
We could have just taken off.
Yeah, if you didn't care about the being able to return to Urala in safety and all that, you certainly could have done other things.
If we didn't care about the entire planet's worth of innocent people.
Well, also that, yeah.
Yeah, morals are so inconvenient.
Yeah, it does come back to it being your fault for making it all too relatable and tempting and enjoyable, Ben. Stop making it so fun.
I know, guys. It's one of my greatest weaknesses. My games are
Yeah, you
just too fun.
incentivized us to behave.
My greatest weakness is I just work too hard. I don't know when to quit. Well, on to faves. Dex, you are up first this time.
Oh, I am? Why am I up first?
Because Danielle was up first last time.
Dang. I didn't write one down this time, and I'm gonna need a minute to think about it. Does anybody else have one they already know?
Ethan would be up next, or anyone else can interject.
Swingy dice.
That's a good one. Yeah, swinging dice. That was
that was good.
That was pretty funny.
yeah. That is textbook. I mean, that's best possible case scenario. Going from triple ones to doubles, max roll. Knocking it out of the park.
All right, I've got
All
one
right,
now.
Robert? Oh, you got one, Dex? Okay, go for it.
I'm gonna go with the very real temptation to pick something up and throw it at Java when he said that he could catch anything.
He said a lot of things, not anything. Point of order.
Well, that's still tempted Nero to pick up something and throw it at him in the middle of this tension-filled, kind of gory and dramatic moment.
Felt the need to clarify that was Nero's understanding and not what Java said. So I don't know.
That's fair.
All right, I tried to summarize that. Dex, feel free to message me an editorialization if you choose.
Nope, that works perfectly.
I think my favorite would be Cade not being the black sheep of House Breckenridge for once.
Oh,
Amen. Making
that's
Daddy
good.
proud. We love it. Redemption arc completed.
Yep.
Yeah, no, that
Well,
was
you
good.
say that. You say that until he shows up with a new fiance for you.
True.
Oh man.
Yeah, say you done good. Definitely right place, right time. Avery.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with the sassy king who just got reheaded.
Oh my word. I loved that everybody in chat was like, did we make a mistake giving him his head back? Should we re-decapitate him?
It was a legit question.
Yeah.
I love that him being sassy though, just immediate like to Saoirse, just immediately made everyone go, okay, excuse you, sir. I would like to remind you that kindness is a decision that I have made, and therefore at any point I can choose to not use the kindness if the kindness is not working. We can go in another direction. I'm not a kind person. I have simply chosen to use this method.
You brought him back into this world and can take him back out.
Oh man. I should pull that dad card sometime.
Might be able to take the head off the emperor, but you can't take the emperor out of the head.
Yep. True.
Oh, okay. Is that what that is?
Something
I
like
got
that.
confused.
You can't expect a man to stop being emperor just because you chop his head off.
Mm.
Most people who get a second chance at life are nicer. But anyway.
um,
I'll next time I'll just ask him first time.
Nah.
I will. My favorite is related. I'll also say banter with the emperor. He,
Oh.
I enjoyed that because just getting to try to imagine, how is a man in his position going to comport himself in this scenario, and I shouldn't really be surprised that that the party had the usual I guess kind of affronted reaction to someone not immediately bowing and kissing their feet.
I'm
And
sorry.
so that was fun.
No one was asking him to bow and kiss feet.
No, just be a nice guy about it.
Ask politely and say please.
Yeah.
Hmm. Well, yeah, that's good luck getting that out of an emperor, I guess.
Yeah, we know. Miss your sassy pants.
Even that's so true. That's like exactly. That's how I imagine. That's how the response feels a lot of the time. Like, oh, what? This NPC didn't just like immediately accept our reasoning and agree with us? How dare? But yeah, it was fun getting to try to role play an emperor for a couple minutes.
Well, I will say him telling healer, heal these men, and she's just like, which ones? I'm so
Oh boy, yeah.
a
And he's like,
little.
I don't know. You tell me. You're the healer. Like, I've got men dead and dying all over the place. Figure it out.
Wrong. When she's like, you mean your men? You mean those men? What men? Like, are there specific men, my lord?
Just vaguely unspecific men.
Oh my.
All right. Let's see. Did I get everybody? Oh, Danielle. You're last to go.
Mm. I think even though we didn't get everything we wanted, I did like getting to the point where we got to all, as a party, go before the emperor.
Yeah.
Like just like it felt kind of surreal that we were, you know, there in our, audience attire before the emperor and all alive, thankfully. So
Yeah, that we made it that far alive.
yeah,
And all
look
wearing
where
your
we
real
are now.
natural faces.
And
Which is big.
all wearing. Okay, that you didn't have to say that. That was ominous, and I didn't appreciate it.
No, that's not ominous. It's a good thing.
That was ominous.
I do have one correction for you, Ben. If we could use the wording that Avery prefers there, it was, I can catch many things.
Mm.
And then
Good catch.
I'll post it up.
With an I say that I could hear the emphasis there.
The emphasis, and I could hear it too, makes me again think of the cheese merchant in Divinity.
Cheese merchant in Divinity.
Yes,
That's how I
Divinity
remember.
Original Sin.
Do you have any cheese?
Uh,
Perhaps do you have any cambrics, sir?
no, that's a different skit. That's Monty Python.
Yeah, well, I liked the Monty Python skit. It was pretty good.
I can't remember exactly how it goes. All I remember is that there is a part in which there is the phrase "many cheeses" and just many things. I know.
Man. Nice. As a reminder, I need to fire that game up again sometime soon.
Yeah.
Been too long. All right.
Posted.
That's it for faves. Got them posted. Everybody can take another XP.
Woo!
And just a reminder to Robert to decide what to spend your experience points on.
Wait, I got experience points for level 11?
Yeah.
Oh, skill points, I mean.
What do you always
Yeah,
call it
skill.
experience
I should say
points?
skill.
I've been wondering that for like months now.
What have you been wondering?
Why Ben calls skill points experience points?
Let's see here.
I thought we were
Agree.
freezing skills at 10.
No, we haven't. We have
Oh,
not
okay.
been. Dex has saved his a few times because he was hoping to put them on other stuff.
Well, because the things the skills I want to raise require more than the 3 I get at any level. Actually, it requires like 3 levels worth of points.
Yeah, no, I was just misspeaking. I meant skill points.
I mean, I'm not the kind of person that goes around correcting people's grammar, and it's unnecessary. But it's just been a curiosity of mine, for because you've done it for as long as I've known you, or at least as long as I've been playing with you as a GM and leveled up.
Mm-hmm. Well, thanks for letting me continue saying the wrong thing the entire time.
You're welcome.
Yeah, that's funny. I thought I remembered that it used the same term for both of them, which I always thought was kind of weird, but I don't know where I got that idea.
Huh.
I wonder if I wonder if it's that way on the character sheets. That might be what I'm
Well,
thinking.
it says unspent skill points there too.
Yeah, no, not in the definitely not on the Roll20 ones. I wonder, because that would be. I have a vague. No, it has skill points there too. Unless I'm just.
I mean, it's not. It's not something that's like that out of the ordinary. There are games that you get XP, and then you spend those XP on raising your skills.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of what I figured it was, or at least where it came from.
Yeah, it must just be a little leftover from something like that. Because everywhere here it's certainly skill points.
Oh, I should end the stream here. Oops.
True.
Bye, everyone.
Peace.